Happy Saturday. Wow, 1 week away from Christmas. I don't know about you, but our house has turned into just a magical wonderland here. Um, you know, uh, we've been talking a lot about this idea of doubling your money. I had an opportunity to speak up in Pittsburgh earlier this month. And, one of the things that I shared is one of the lessons in the Double Your Income program. It's what I want to talk about today and share this little clip. It's this idea that, when we think about making a change in our life, we want to change whatever it is, right? We want to change our eating habits, or we want to change, our personal growth trajectory, or we want to change the way we communicate, or we want to change the way we lead. We want to make a change in, some area of our lives. But what we fail to understand is that everything in our life supports the way things are right now in that area of our life. In other words, that if we want to make a change in our life, everything needs to change. So I've picked out about a 20-minute clip from about an hour and 10-minute lesson from the Double Your Income program. I really encourage you, whether you enroll in the program or not, there's some questions that I ask you to do and answer. I encourage you to take the time to write those questions down, and after the video, go back and take the time to really answer those questions. Think about the attachments and commitments that you have that hold this current behavior in place, that hold this current reality in place. And think about all the necessary changes, the secondary changes you need to make before that primary change is made. So watch this clip. I'll see you on the other side. Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, he was interviewed. He said he's not afraid of other companies. He's not afraid of Walmart or Macy's or any, Alibaba who trades in Japan, the company that competes with Amazon in Japan. You know what he said he's afraid of? He's afraid of a 12-year-old kid in their garage right now who's got in his mind that he's going to build a better Amazon. He's going to build a better company. Same with Mark Zuckerberg. He's not threatened by Twitter. He's not threatened by Google Hangouts or YouTube. He's not at all concerned about any of his current competitors of today. He's concerned about a 16-year-old or 17-year-old kid who's going to Harvard like he was, thinking about, how they're going to create something in this, adapting new, accelerated time of change. So you have to ask yourself, this phrase that so many people use but don't really take the time to answer. And that is, when was the last time you did something for the first time? So when was the last time you tried something new? I'm telling you, millions of people are going to be left behind simply because they're thinking about it. Simply because they're thinking about it. They're thinking about one day making some change. They're thinking about what they're going to do one day. And while they're taking the time to think about it and think about it and think about it, somebody else is doing it. This is why I say, jump and build your wings on the way down. Jump and build your wings on the way down. Don't miss opportunities to get ahead of the curve and to make yourself indispensable to your source of income. These opportunities to innovate, they are everywhere in today's marketplace. Do not get left behind. Listen to me. There's a law of compensation, and it's very clear. The law of compensation says that the amount of money you and I earn is always in direct proportion with the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you, period. This isn't theory. I'm a capitalist entrepreneur. I've been this way for more than 30 years, and I'm telling you, I know what I know. I have lived this, that the amount of money you earn is governed by the law of compensation, and that is very clear. There's a very clear correlation between the income you earn and it being in direct proportion with the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. That's it. And I don't care, how good of a marketing plan you have. If there's not a need for what you do, you lose. I don't care how fancy your book cover looks. I don't care if you're number one on Amazon at 2:00 in the morning on some given Tuesday. I don't care who writes the foreword for your book. If your book doesn't meet the need of the marketplace, you lose. I don't care what certificate of completion you hold or what level of education training you have. If I can put somebody else in there and easily replace you, you lose. That's the marketplace. That's capitalism. Best idea wins, right? The alternative is communism and socialism. And look how that's working. Go hang out in Greece for a little bit. Go hang out there in North Korea. See how the economy is doing in Venezuela and Argentina. If you're watching this, you probably live in a world of free enterprise, in a capitalist world. where the law of compensation is based on the need for what you do. The marketplace has handed you this opportunity for growth in the midst of massive change. The opportunity to utilize your intellectual faculties to positively create and affect the life you want. The law of compensation right there in your own life, individualized. So think about this. What do you really want? Is there a need for what you want? The law is very clear. The amount of money you earn is in direct proportion for the need for what you do. You've had nothing to do with the need for what you do. The marketplace has handed that to you. You didn't have to make the need for electrical services. You didn't need to make the need for legal services. You didn't create the need for graphic design services or coaching services. That need existed before you even came to the marketplace. Think of what Uber did overnight, right? Just boom. One year Uber came out and they don't own a car, and yet they generate more revenue than all the transportation services in the country combined. Look at Airbnb. They book more hotel rooms every single day than Marriott, Hilton Hotels, Wyndham combined. And they don't own one piece of real estate. Think about that. Overnight, boom. They don't own one room. Look at Amazon. Total disruptors in the marketplace, right? Amazon is the largest retailer in the world. They don't own a product. They sell billions and billions and billions. You're kind of catching on, are you following this? So you want to make sure that you're in an industry where there's a need. And where there's a need for you that's growing. That it's a growing need, not a decreasing need. And once you see that there's a need for what you do and that it's getting greater, then you need to get better. You need to get greater. You need to be and get greater. Remember, your income will always be in direct proportion for the need for what you do and your ability to do it. Then there becomes a difficult time of replacing you in the marketplace. First, again, look at the need for what you do. Make sure that there's an increasing need. Make sure that there's an increasing need. I don't know what it is that you do for a living, but I can tell you there's a need for it. You want to make sure that there's an increasing need for it. Next is your ability to do it. Like, how good are you at what you do? Are you average or are you exceptional? Are you getting better? Are you making your daily routine reflect an improvement in your skill level, in your ability to get better at what you do? See, the need for what you do and your ability to do it, then it's the difficulty there is in replacing you. It's very easy to replace average, very, very easy. You could go to McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King, Taco Bell, there's all kinds of average places to eat, right? Go and try to find a 3-star Michelin restaurant. Go find a 3-star Michelin restaurant. They're a lot harder to find because they're way above average. Now, at one of the average places, you can easily get a meal for under $10. But at an exceptional, above average Michelin restaurant, you'll pay $500 for a meal. Now, it's exceptional. It's extraordinary. You and I can walk into McDonald's, stand back and watch the pimple-faced kid make French fries, and they've been employed making French fries for the last year. And in about 15 minutes after watching them make French fries, you and I can put on an apron and replace them to do their job, and we do it just as good as they are. Therefore, the pimple-faced kid gets paid minimum wage. It's the law of compensation. Is there a need for McDonald's French fries? You bet there's a need. They sell billions every day. But the next part is the pimple-faced kid's ability to do the job, and then the difficulty in replacing them. Well, there's not much skill and training required to make McDonald's French fries, and therefore they're easily replaced. Step into a Michelin restaurant, and you can sit back and watch the chef make a poached egg, foie gras, caviar dish topped with, the foam of a steamed cashew infused with truffle oil, and it take you the better part of 6 years of schooling to learn how to make just that one dish. And so while the pimple-faced, French fry maker earns minimum wage, a Michelin chef earns about $500,000 a year and likely owns shares in the restaurant. The need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. That's the law of compensation. The one powerful thing that this pimple-faced French fry maker has is that he can make himself irreplaceable by using the resources inside him or her. See, the pimple-faced kid can choose their attitude, can't they? See, because although McDonald's can easily replace someone to make French fries, finding someone with a really good positive attitude while they make those French fries, finding somebody who can make French fries with a really good positive attitude that gets along with everybody else on the team, find somebody who can make those French fries with a really good attitude, who gets along with everybody on the team and is willing to take on responsibility, that's going to show up on time, take initiative, be a problem solver. Now that's harder to find. And so what you see and I see is a pimple-faced kid making minimum wage at McDonald's. But if they'll develop the resources within them, if they'll grow themselves personally, they can put themselves in harmony with the law of compensation and allow themselves the opportunity to advance upwardly in the organization. And a career opens up to them, and they develop more skills. It's not only that they gain knowledge through formal education or studying what they read in books. Look, I'm a high school dropout, so it's not about having these prestigious credentials. I don't hold any certifications. Sometimes about developing and working with the resources that God's giving you and being able and willing to do what others are willing to do. That's it. That's what it was for my case. In my case, I was willing to do things that others were unwilling to do. I was willing to clean toilets at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was willing to do that with a smile on my face, with a good attitude. And that set me apart from my competition. Many of you have probably met my friend, Dr. Harold Bafidis, a world-renowned plastic surgeon. And, Dr. Bafidis will tell you that he used to run into me. He would do surgery cases late at night in his surgical center, and I would be there. He would be doing paperwork following up on the case and see me, friendly and cheerful, while I was cleaning his office, mopping his floors, emptying the trash can, cleaning the toilets. And we built a fast friendship. See, there's a lot of people who have been programmed with false beliefs that said that you're never going to be a success. You'll never be successful if you're not in the right place at the right time. Well, here you are. You're in the right place at the right time. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't adapt, you can still lose. See, you can be in the right place at the right time, and you can lose. Because you can also be in the right place at the right time and lack the awareness that you're in the right place at the right time. See, it's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's about being aware that you're even there to see the opportunities. I'm just going to tell you, once you expand your awareness, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what time it is. You can win. So you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time and still win. I've been in markets where they were down markets. When I started my commercial cleaning company, it was 1988. Now, I didn't know any better, but that was a recession. I didn't even know what a recession was. So, in my case, ignorance truly was bliss, because thankfully, I didn't know that I was supposed to fail. So I didn't buy into all the hype that, this was the wrong time to start a business. There is no wrong time. There is no wrong place. The time is always right now. And it's always right here. And it's always right now. And it's always right here. And it's always right. But you've got to be open-minded if you're going to see the opportunities. And you're not going to see those opportunities when you have an attachment to your old way of doing things, to your old pattern of thinking. And the danger for many people is they've gotten comfortable with where they are, and they think that they like things just the way they are. They might say things like, I'm able to make my mortgage payment, so everything's going good. I'm going to tell you what, everything is changing. So part of that is everything is good. I like things just the way they are, but I'm telling you, part of that had better become a plan of adaptation to a changing world. I cannot tell you the number of people who have sent me emails who said, I have a corporate job, I've been comfortable with it because I've had this position in the company, I'm comfortable with my team, our system, our products, and I never really saw myself doing anything else in my life. This is what I really wanted to do, so I never really diversified. I never really took a career pathing seriously, and yada, yada, yada. Long story short, now I find out that we're merging, or we're being bought out, or we're being downsized, or there's a new product line, or there's a new system, and they tell me I'm going to be out in 6 months. And now I have to get serious about career pathing. And it's sad when I get those emails, because in many cases, it's almost too late for them to make a transition without having suffer some serious financial pain. Look, you don't have to be sick to get better. You know that, right? You don't have to be sick to get better. You can get better at what you're doing right now. Most people will wait until their back is right up against the wall, and that's when they're going to take it seriously. That's when they're going to say to themselves, okay, now I'm ready. But you can't wait. Just trust me on this one, please. Just try this process that I'm guiding you through in this program. Give this program just 90 days of you really practicing it, really living it out, really doing what I'm showing you to do, living into the Spirit. Don't just kind of do it. Enter into the spirit of what I'm sharing with you just for 90 days. Do it until you find out that I'm lying or that I'm wrong, okay? Whenever Patrick shared anything with me that he wanted me to do, to develop, I said, I would want to develop this, or I would want to grow that. I'd want to build this. And he would ask me to do things. And even in the face of all of my limiting beliefs, that all of my attachments, I was willing to surrender those for his higher level of awareness. For years, what held me back from speaking and teaching and training and coaching was that my belief that, nobody's going to take me seriously. How can I talk to somebody about being wealthy? And I haven't even made $1 million. How can I talk to somebody about being successful when I was in my early 20s earning $20,000 a year? Now, how can I talk to somebody about being successful when I'm a high school dropout? Who's going to take me seriously? I had so closely identified with these shackling ideas that I become attached to that they almost seemed like part of me. I had to be willing to let go of all of the story that I told myself. I had to change all of those internal voices. And to do that, I had to change what I thought about myself, which meant I had to change my habits, my priorities, my schedule, the framework, how I viewed my past, how to make practical changes at any and all cost. I had to do whatever I needed to do to support my dream, to nourish my dream, and to follow what Patrick suggested I do. I had to be willing to let go of my attachments and latch on to what he was telling me. If I was going to take a group of people and walk through your house right now to your date book and your checkbook, to your credit card receipts, and just kind of lay them all out, would we see evidence of your dreams and goals? Would we see evidence that you are, an agent of change, that you are growing in your skill set, that you're becoming an indispensable part of your marketplace, that your marketplace, that your industry, that your company, that those you serve could not do without you? Would we see that? So you have to ask yourself, what are my attachments? What commitments do I have? And where do these conflict with this mental model of perfection I'm claiming that I want to bring forward? So I have this dream, I have this model of what I want for my life, and yet I have these attachments and these commitments. Which of these commitments and attachments get in the way of me bringing this dream forward? And where in my life is there evidence that I'm making the changes to these commitments and these attachments? Are you practically stepping forward into growth? Are you still trying to figure out, how maybe you can squeeze a little bit more out of the way you've always been doing it? And you might be doing that because you're afraid to try something new and fail. Personally, I'd much rather see you fail than have an even score, because I know an even score will always produce an even score, but failing will eventually put one in the winning column for you. I know it. You lose enough and you fail enough and you don't quit, you eventually start to begin to change. You gain a new awareness. You grow from that. You get better. You grow. But you've got to look at your attachments of how you're doing things right now. It's one of the things that I do regularly. I look at my schedule again and again. I sit down with Megan, who runs my schedule. I sit down with my staff and I say, look, where are we going to be able to get in my schedule the things that are necessary for me to be doing what we need me to do in order for us to get where we need to be at the end of this year? And I've got to change my entire schedule and process almost every single year. We've got to change how the company communicates with me, who I communicate with, how they communicate with me in the company. We've got to make sure that I get, creative time driven onto my agenda if we're going to get where we want to go. So I'm running my company through the model where I'm really staying at the level of a visionary, empowering management to execute on decisions and having technicians in the field to deliver the goods and the services and the products. In the past, I've kind of been all three, right? And I needed to be. I was technician, management, and visionary. But I don't need to do it that way. And I did it that way for much longer than I needed to. Much longer than I needed to. If I'm going to be able to grow my business to where I want to be able to grow, I need to be able to empower other people so I can get us all where we desire to go. And we can't get there. We can't get there if I'm not able to stay at this level of vision. We can't realize our emerging future doing things the way we've always done them. It just doesn't work. So my team, is very accustomed to an email that comes to them at 2 or 3 in the morning with the subject line, "Everything needs to change." My business and my people could not achieve the vision of staying committed to our dream by following old systems. And neither can yours. So what are you attached to? What past commitments are holding you back? I'm 100% certain that you can start the process of doubling your income from right where you are right now. Right where you are right now. I'm convinced of it. You don't need to get ready. Nothing needs to change. You can start right now. I believe that in my heart of hearts, in my bones. I believe it. And I know that the only way you're going to be able to do this is by cutting and breaking and changing some of the attachments and commitments that you have right now. Commitments to your prior thinking, attachments to the habits that you have, attachments to being right, attachments to vendors, processes, systems. I was a former president of the John Maxwell team, and I would be in full-day meetings with our marketing team, working with a budget of several $100,000 a month in marketing. And I'd say, I want to see every single one of the ads that we were running. And the team would put them up on the screen, and I'd want to see the stats and how many clicks, how many, what does the ad produce in dollars? What's our cost per click? What's our conversion rate? How many likes does it get? How many shares does it get? Every single one of our ads went up on the screen, and they had to fight for their life. And there were a couple of ads that got up there that weren't meeting the numbers that they needed to meet. They weren't performing. And I mean, it would be very clear that if you would look at the numbers, and the team would say to me, yeah, but don't you like the message, right? I mean, the team liked the graphic, or the team liked the look of it. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what the message is, if it's not producing results. If it's now, I care what the message is, and I care what the graphics looks like, but not to the extent that I'm going to let it stay because it's not producing results. You become attached to what it looks like, not the results. It's not producing. Let's not be attached to something that's not working. Look, it may have worked before, or you may even like it a lot, but if it's not working, we got to get rid of it. And we put up the next ad. But, and they'll say, this ad here, did really well in the past. And I said, yeah, that's great. And trust me, if we ever go back to the past, we'll dig it back up and we'll run it again. But right now, we're going in a different direction. We're going to the future. And the future says this ad is not producing. Now, they may want to recycle it from 6 months and give it another shot for a week or two. Okay. But right now, out it goes. And every single one of those meetings was hard for them. These were grown men and women, professionals, but they become attached to things. And it's easy to get attached to a process and a system and ways of doing things. But those things will never allow you to get better. What are you doing to get better? What's your plan for getting better? Not just to learn more. See, there's a big difference between the two, isn't there? I'm not just talking about learning more. I'm talking about getting better. What's your plan to get better? Most people think that when they grow, that means that they learn new things. No, not at all. Just learning new things doesn't cause you to grow. Doing what it takes to get better causes you to grow. The application of those things that serve you to get better going forwards helps you to grow. Is what you're going to learn going to make you better? Or is it just going to make you smarter? Because I'm going to tell you, smarter isn't always better. Smarter doesn't always get you better results. There's a lot of smart broke people. There's a lot of educated people who don't have a lot of financial wealth. There's lots of folks, who went to college, lots of people with bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhDs that are financially struggling. They know a lot. So what you're going to learn and what you're going to know and what you're going to do to grow had better help you get better at what you do. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. You have to ask yourself, is studying this or learning this going to make me better? And by better, I mean more valuable. Will it help me be compensated according to the need for what I do, my ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing me? Can I do that? I once hired Seth Godin to speak in an event. And, Seth was $80,000 for one session, and I hired him for more than one session. Why? Because very few people could do what he does at his level. I needed to bring in somebody who could absolutely nail the day. And again, because we mass produce average, there were very few people I could hire for my event who had that level of expertise, that level of reputation, that level of mastery. And because of that, he could name his price. And he did. And so there's very few people who can command that level of fee. Again, it's simply because there's very few people who could deliver the way that he was able to deliver. Very hard to replace. So when an organization is going to go through an expense of bringing in 1,000 of their top associates, they want to bring in one of the best speakers in the world. That's just the way it is. And he's one of them. And that's why I've been able to do it. Same with Dr. Daniel Amen. I mean, when an organization wants to grow and wants to help their people be the very best, we know that, we want to help them have brain health. This is why he's in such high demand. This is why his content is sought after all over the world. He's the best in the world at what he does. He's got systems and processes that helps other people do it. Other people teach what he teaches. This is what separates him from everybody else in the marketplace. And it's why he's at the top of his game. So what attachments and what commitments do you have that are in direct conflict with your dream or your goal that stand in the way of you being the very best at what you do? Or certainly being the very best that you can be at doing what you do. In other words, is there room for growth for you? Can you still get better? Are you a 10 out of 10 or are you an 8 out of 10? And if you're an 8 out of 10, there's 2 more points for you to go. So this is really self-inventory time. It's a good time for you to look at some of the attachments you have. And here's a hint. Anything that you say after the word because is usually an attachment, right? So you'll say, I can't because I won't be able to do it because I don't have the time right now, or because I don't have the money, or because I don't have the connections. Any time we use the word because, what follows it is usually a misplaced attachment or commitment. We're committed to the idea that I don't have the time, I don't have the money. We're attached to the idea that I don't have the skill set or the connections. And this is important because it's a really big hint. Remember, you want to always be listening to what you're saying. Self-talk is really important. Catch yourself. Whenever you're using the word because, I can't because, anything that follows that is a great sign that you have an attachment or commitment that you need to challenge and is likely standing in the way of you and your dream. By thought, the thing you want and desire is brought into your awareness. By thought, the thing that you want and that you desire, it comes into your awareness. By intention and a willingness, you come into agreement with it. By faith based on understanding, you take daily actions to move it into physical form. The very best thing you can do for yourself and this world is to operate from the highest level of awareness of your oneness with God and the potential He has given you. I'll see you in the next lesson. Be well. Well, again, like I said, that is just it's just a 20-minute clip from about an hour and 10-minute teaching from Double Your Income. I really hope that you'll consider taking the step. The program is discounted. It is a fantastic value. When we offer it at $1,997, it is a fantastic value. And now the program's discounted down from $1,000 down to $497 until the end of the year. I think that this would be just a biggest no-brainer for you. If you've ever really thought about this idea of doubling your income, this program will guide you through all the necessary mindset changes you have to make in order to really embrace the type and the amount of change that you're going to have to go through to bring it forward. Trust me, I've been through this process. I've done it myself. I've taken a $10 million company and doubled the income from 10 million to 20 million in 1 year. I've not only been able to do that for myself, I've been able to show other people how to take their annual income and double their annual income. See, there's one thing of being able to do it yourself. There's another thing of being able to transfer that knowledge and understanding. And I think I'm gifted in that area, and I want to help you. And this program has my very best thinking. And when you enroll now, it includes mentoring with me. So I hope you'll enjoy the program. Click on the link below to enroll, and have a fantastic week as we come into Christmas. Hope you're enjoying a little bit of a break to be with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. God bless. Be well. Bye-bye.
So as a result of working with Paul, I have more than doubled my income. And what I love is that I've also been able to teach other people how to do the same.
Paul at that time mentioned that a goal would be to double the income. And this year will come close to that, which again is just a complete mind shift.
So as a result of working with Paul, I'm able to share a lot of the strategies that he's taught me with the leaders in my company. And as a result, their businesses are growing. Right now, I've only been open 2.5 years. I have 3 locations. This year, we will sell over $225 million in real estate. and we will have sold over 800 transactions as a company.
With Paul's programs, what we've seen is the return on investment for us has been 6 figures.
I want to thank Paul because where I am today is because I took a step of faith, invested in Paul's teachings and the results mastermind, and I can look back and truly say, I have results. I have a return on my investment.
The biggest thing I was trying to overcome is I did not like being on video. I just did not like being in the camera. It went beyond I just don't want to years of resisting and not wanting to, and it really stopping my productivity in my business. During my vision retreat with Paul, he walked me through exercises that had absolutely nothing to do with my fear of being on camera. And it was my overcoming the fear was a byproduct of something completely different that I had no idea about. It was gone. Like after I got home from my vision retreat with Paul, the first thing I did is I went and made a bunch of videos to all the people that for years had tried to help me overcome this fear of being on camera. And I went and made personal videos for all of them, and was just joyful and said, I'm over it. I'm just over the fear.
All the things that I learned from Paul, I put it together with my retail knowledge and manufacturing knowledge. I tell people I try not to be cocky here, but seriously, I have no competition. If you are thinking about money, you are thinking the wrong thing. Meaning that multiplied investment in return is a no-brainer to me. If you want to grow your business, you want to double your business, don't even think about it. Just jump in.
We were on a call, and one of the members of the call had some difficulties, and Paul stepped right up. I won't say what he did, but he immediately stepped up and helped that person right then, helped see a different perspective, and talks cheap, but he backed it up with his pocketbook.
So right here, I don't know if you can see, but this is a picture that Christian took when I shared with Paul about what I had done. Yes. He had that picture sent to me to put into my office with this card. I keep it all the time saying, congratulations on the new office, Ariel. Big love, Paul Martinelli. So who else would do that? Right? And so there's that, you just gotta love him. That's a true mentor. It's, it's not a simple transactional process. Here's my program. Give me your money. I give you some stuff, right? It goes beyond that. And so Paul Martinelli is my guy.